It appears that there has been deep penetration in the halls of our United States government by the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood has been found to be an unindicted co-conspirator on terrorism cases, and yet it appears that there are individuals who are associated with the Muslim Brotherhood who have positions, and very sensitive positions, in our Department of Justice, our Department of Homeland Security, potentially even in the National Intelligence Agency.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the other side of the looking glass, where up is down and down up, and the top State Department aides, members of the Muslim Brotherhood. But Michele Bachman, she's the one who uncovered it all. Well, you remember the Minnesota Republican, the congresswoman, also one-time presidential hopeful, and I would say our very own modern-day McCarthy. Now, swap communists for Muslims, and presto, you've got the latest witch hunt going on. And Andrew, you know, I thought somebody was kidding when I first heard the story. Then I heard what she had to say, and shockingly, a few people are standing with her in Washington.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Michele Bachman says it, I'm convinced. And good luck if you get to Congress with her in your caucus. Michele Bachman has never been one to let the facts get in the way of a good headline. Bachman, who you'll recall catapulted to fame by claiming there were anti-American members of Congress, upped the ante. She's now claiming there were members of the Muslim Brotherhood or people influenced by them in our federal government. She and 4 other members of Congress wrote letters to the inspectors general at several federal agencies asking them to investigate the influence of the Muslim Brotherhood. In particular, Bachman singled out Huma Abedin, the top deputy to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and the wife of former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Abedin has since had to get a security detail after a New Jersey man threatened her life after the Bachman accusations went public. Needless to say, there is little evidence to support Bachman's claim. So where did she get her info? From Frank Gaffney, who frankly sees Islamist conspiracies everywhere he looks and has even been banned, get this, from the annual CPAC conservative conference because he said CPAC had been infiltrated and taken over by the Muslim Brotherhood. A credible source, to be sure. Now, Republicans, including House Speaker John Boehner, Mike Rogers, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, in which Bachman sits, and Bachman's own former campaign manager, coming out of the woodwork to condemn Bachman's statement. Most notably, though, John McCain, who pushed back on the floor of the U.S. Senate.
These allegations about Huma Abedin and the report from which they are drawn are nothing less than an unwarranted and unfounded attack on an honorable citizen, a dedicated American, and a loyal public servant.
But let's say you don't believe John McCain or even the State Department, which gave Abedin clearance. How about the Muslim Brotherhood themselves? A leader of the group in Egypt told the Global Post that the allegations were, quote, ridiculous. So, Rich, clearly, Michele Bachman's onto something.
Sanity. Now, can I ask you something? You really want to go to Washington and get in a caucus with this? I'm telling you, we're meeting for the first time here. You're sober. You seem to actually have political courage, which is in short supply. But your party has seemingly done its best to alienate large groups of the population. The Latino vote here, you've seen the trending for this. You've seen some of the language coming from some of the Tea Party members, especially here, that have been, well, let's say less than welcoming to people of both color, let alone also the gay population, and I can keep going on. Now the Arab population, what are they going to hear when they hear that? It's not the Republican Party you grew up in, is it?
Well, I would argue that I'm the quintessential Republican. My children are all mixed race. My wife is African American. I speak fluent Spanish. I speak 5 languages. And I have a plan for immigration reform. So I think I'm the quintessential Republican. We have to remember the Republican Party was founded by Abraham Lincoln. It was really founded to abolish slavery. If we go back in our history, if the Democrats had stayed in power, slavery would have continued to exist for another 50 years. So I think I'm the true Republican, not Michele Bachman. And look, Michele Bachman, I don't know what happened. It's obviously outrageous comments, unfounded, horrific comments. And as you suggest, you know, blasphemes a good, hard-working American citizen working with Secretary of State Clinton. And obviously we have to be careful to be very good neighbors to our Muslim friends and citizens. So that it's outrageous comment. Now, not everything Michele Bachman says is wrong, and so I'm disappointed for her here. And I think that, you know, let's hope she was just having a bad day.
The party of Lincoln and, you know, Chris Shays, who you probably know well, who's been a frequent guest on the show, now candidate, then member of the House, Republican, who was the final Republican moderate from New England, at least, until he was pushed out. he said, I don't recognize my party anymore. Now he's running for Senate in Connecticut, but they make your job harder, I would think, don't they?
You know, I have to say, you know, look, the Republican Party is a big tent like the Democrat Party.
It used to
as
be.
well.
You think it still is?
Yes, I think it has room for Joe Carvin. And I got to say, you know, quite frankly,
Look at the guy you ran against in a primary. I mean, if that doesn't scare you, right?
It does. But fortunately, if you know, and I was really pleased that the head of the Westchester Republican Party, remember, he distanced himself in the middle of the last election, as did the head of the Republican Party in Rockland County. So we worked very hard to make certain.
He got sued along with me.
He got sued along with you, exactly. So
dismissed. Yeah.
You know, I think the Republican Party is, you know, I would argue that you know, you need to get more Chris Shays and Joe Carvin on TV more than Michele Bachman. So I really appreciate this opportunity to put forth the message, because if you're not talking crazy ideas, you don't get as much TV time as some of these kind of crazies.
Worth noting, Joe McCarthy got reelected during the whole McCarthyism. It's abhorrent to think about now, looking back on the whole thing, but there is an appetite for this within the Republican Party. Look at the debate we had over the mosque near Ground Zero. I think the same people who were so vehemently opposed to that are the people who are going to be lapping up the comments from Michele Bachman.
Except that one was more, I don't know.
I understand. There's a difference, but
yeah, there's a difference
but the veracity of their argument at the time, which surprised me, those are the people who are enjoying what